This is the BENQ W4000i cinematic projector, or as I like to call it, W4KI, because it is indeed a 4K projector that is capable of reproducing 100% true colors in the REC-709 and DCI-P3 color spaces in the white color gamut. It comes with Android TV, so you'll have access to all your essential streaming apps like Netflix, etc. from within the projector, so you don't have to go around installing APK files. We'll get into the technical bits in a moment, and I promise to keep it interesting, so just hang on and keep watching. This is Irfan from MiiBooth. Let's have a look at the package first. It is a big projector, so it comes in a big box naturally. Inside we have the remote for the projector, 2 different power cables, and then comes the projector itself. Now this is by no means a projector made for a small space, and it shows. Not saying it can't handle it, but it won't be fair to test an eagle's flight in a cage, would it? Not sure if that was a good analogy, but let's move on now. This is a big and high performance machine, and it demands the respect and care of one. Moving on, we have a user manual and some batteries for the remotes. There is a letter here which is basically an individual calibration report for this specific projector, and there is one with every projector because each of them have been individually calibrated to meet the standards of HD TV color gamut. Additionally, there is an Android TV stick with its own remote control. This is also from BENQ, and this actually becomes part of the projector. We just have to unscrew the protruding back panel, plug it in through the mini HDMI port, and secure it back in place. Speaking of ports, it has the SP-Diff audio out, 3.5mm audio jack, a USB 2 media reader port, 2 HDMI ports, one of them being an audio return plus, another USB port, a VGA port, and a LAN port for internet. We've got all the basic controls on the side next to the lens, which is very convenient in case the remote is not in reach, and a cover to protect the precious lens and the LEDs inside. Now I'm going to be using it as a tabletop projector, but it can be wall or ceiling mounted. And don't worry if you think placing it on a table will limit its capability of projection, because it won't. See, first of all, it has screws for feet which you can use to raise or level the projector. Now if that's not enough, this knob can be used to shift the lens up and down without disturbing the proportions of the screen. And the knob next to it can do a horizontal shift. Now when you slide this cover off, it reveals the focus wheel. Now if I love any manual knob, it has to be the focus wheel on a projector. The satisfaction you get when you dial in on that sweet spot is unparalleled. The other wheel lets you do this. Yes, it allows you to make the most out of your available space by zooming in and out. You can adjust the keystone manually or set the vertical to auto, and then if you move the projector up and down, it automatically readjusts according to the screen or the wall. Now let me point out that even though it is so big and bulky and powerful, I can barely hear it. It is super quiet. The only loud thing about it is its own built-in 5-watt speaker, which is enough for a small to medium-sized closed room. But if you want to make the most out of it, better to use it with a proper sound system. Fast. Let's see what's inside the box, and then it's time to start pumping. Quite a sturdy cardboard box. It bears a picture of the machine along with quick facts like 150. Now all the things I've mentioned so far are basically like toppings on a cake, but the main character is always the cake. And in this case, it's the unparalleled viewing experience you get when you use the W4000i. Firstly, it can project up to 150 inches from a distance of 4 to 5 meters. It also has an efficient shot throw of 100 inches from around 3 meters. I'm somewhere at about 100 somewhat inches, and you can have a look at the 55 inches TV next to it for comparison. Now, even though this is a relatively small size for its projection, it is dwarfing the TV next to it. And that is a big TV, mind you. It is a 55-inch TV. This is the white color gamut. In an ideal world, any screen or projector should be able to recreate these colors to show anything accurately. Now this is the sRGB triangle, which means most of your content created has to be adjusted within this triangle, as most screens support only these much colors out of the whole white color gamut. Now this is the DCI-P3, which has 26% more colors than the sRGB, and the W4000i supports 100% of Digital Cinema Initiative's Protocol 3, which is DCI-P3 for short, which means it can basically show more true colors compared to most high-end projectors and screens out there. Now I really hope that helped you understand some of the buzzwords thrown around. In layman terms, this is as close as you can get to reproducing colors as your eyes see them in real life on the screen. Did I mention that courtesy of Android TV, you have all the essential streaming apps like Netflix, YouTube, Amazon Prime and Disney Plus built in, and you can also always add more from Google Store. And they all run super smooth and you don't have to install shady APK files to access them. In fact, you have hotkeys on the remote to access them instantly. And the UI in general is super smooth, whether it be the projector's own built-in system with its own settings, or if you're running the Android TV with its own remote. They both are super smooth and there have been no hiccups in hours and hours of testing so far. It projects with 3200 ANSI lumens, which needless to say is super bright. I mean, I can have all the lights on in the room and still see everything perfectly. But it's when the lights go off that the magic happens. While more brightness with some projectors translate to just more light, that's not the case here. No color is being compromised in the process. In fact, due to HDR Pro in there, the contrast is immaculate and you can see the blacks super dark, the colors intact while preserving the highlights all in one scene. I mean, if you walk into a dark room where this projector is playing, there is no way you can tell that this is not a 4K TV. I mean, the projection screen looks like it is plastered to the wall and it is not an actual projection. It just looks like it's part of the wall. That's how good it is. I have tested a couple of projectors and good ones too, but this is in a league of its own, if that makes sense. Now, if I were to try and describe it in a couple of words, I would say the colors are unbelievably real. They're super true. All I can do is zoom in on the projection screen, and even in that you can see how crisp and how clear the details are. When you're looking at it yourself, it's a totally different experience than watching it in a video. The blacks are super black. In a totally dark room, if I point to one of the corners where there is a dark scene, it is difficult to differentiate where the projection is ending and where the actual wall is. The light scenes are well balanced, they're not overwhelming. It's amazing how all of this is done in one scene and nothing is being compromised. The colors, the lights, the darks, everything perfectly well balanced, and that is quite a feat for a projector. Now, it won't be a modern day projector if it did not have Wi-Fi and screen mirroring and all of that, and it's very easy to do. You can simply just have your phone on the same Wi-Fi as the projector and then pull down the screen mirroring option if it is an iPhone, or do the same for Android phones. Just click on it, select the device, and then there it goes. Your phone screen appears on the projector screen. Then you can just do everything as you would do normally. It also has HDR10+, which means it analyzes most of your stream data, which is supported as per the HDR10 standards, and it adjusts the media including the lights and darks frame by frame according to your ambient lighting. So if you were to reduce the lighting or increase lighting in your room, the projection would adjust according to that to give you the best possible viewing experience. Now let me remind you once again that this is a 4K projector. They don't come by easily, and a good one at that too. I mean, the detail in a high quality scene is mind-blowing. There's no way my camera can do justice. You just have to experience it to truly understand it. There's one more thing. It is a well-known fact that movies are shot at 24 frames per second, but you probably watch them at a higher frame rate like 30 or 60. This might in some cases cause shuddering. Now, the projector has something known as the Filmmaker mode, which allows you to watch the movie as it was meant to be watched in its true frame rate of 24. And the Filmmaker mode supports 100% of the REC-709 color space. What else? You have all the basic settings at your fingertips. Almost everything I mentioned above have a dedicated button on the remote, like switching between the picture modes, Filmmaker mode and the HDR10 mode, sound modes, keystone, voice assistant. Pretty much all the basic settings are there on the remote, and you can simply click a button to access it. Now I'm gonna hook it up to a PlayStation 5 and have a go at one of my teenhood favorite games, Spyro. This game has a lot of colors, a lot of darks and lights, so it's a good test of how it performs at a faster refresh rate. Now I've switched on the fast mode in picture, and I believe the projector can support up to 240 Hz, but only at 1080p. I've also plugged in the game via the audio return plus port, which reduces the audio lag, which can be essential if you're playing games where you shoot other people. Alright, I think you get the picture by now. Pun intended. Now, there are so many technical bits about the projector, which if I get into, it can take me about 10 of these videos. But I did promise to keep it interesting, so I'll cut it short. Understand that whatever you expect a high-end projector to do. The BENQ W4000i can do it masterfully and more. I was watching Planet Earth 2 on it the other day and I was amazed, and I don't easily get stumped because, you know, I've played with quite a few projectors. Now there's something about nature scenes that if reproduced perfectly, it is difficult to pull away, and I believe the W4000i has succeeded at doing that. I'll leave a link in the description box below in case you want to check it out. That's it for now, guys. If you enjoyed watching this video, hit the like button below, share the video, and subscribe to MiiBooth if you'd like to watch more similar content. You can click on the thumbnails on the screen to watch more of my suggested videos, or check out my YouTube channel for more. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.